But just like our opens, Richard, he's cold. Were you not recording?
No, I was just talking.
Oh.
You know what? You know what that is? That is why you should always be listening, because you don't know when something's going to happen.
Yep. We're professionals, and we got it all backed up.
Yep. So there's that. Whatever.
All right, let's answer some questions.
Sometimes I just jibber jabber, but it's so good.
Well, usually you start hitting record in like 20 minutes into it.
I know. Well, I stopped because I stopped and then had to close it and reopen it because I had the other file. So I reopened it and then didn't hit record.
That's all right.
If it was all one track, then it would have been fine. Just saying. It's so good. Feeling good. And now you're gonna ask me some questions. Okay. I guess I should. Okay, I'm gonna start this thing. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language of bromance. Shawn, today you are going to ask me questions once again.
Oh yeah,
are
Richard.
These numbered? Are these episodes numbered? The super question ones? Is this like super question episode number 4?
I can find it. I think it is number 4. I think I put it in the actual episode.
It's time for the 4th annual.
Oh, it's the 5th. It's our 5th super question, Richard.
Wow.
I know, right?
Question number 5.
It's like our drafts, though. Like when you get to it's like, this is our 78th draft. You're like, holy shit, we've done a lot of these.
I know. At some point, it's like, you know what? Just stop numbering them because then it feels way too overwhelming when they're numbered, when there's numbers.
But Richard, for this 5th time ever, we're doing super questions. Basically, it's kind of our take on would you rathers. And this time we're going to go with jobs, Richard. Some super questions.
I hate them.
Around jobs.
And they should all go away.
We should all go back to our roots and live in nature. Be hunter-gatherers.
Maybe. I don't know. Would you be a hunter or a gatherer?
Probably a hunter.
I think I'd be down to gather.
Yeah, see, that's why we work together. Yin and the yang.
You just kind of hang out and like till the field, and
I'd be dragging back this big deer. Be like, Richard, I brought home the meat. And you're like, I picked some berries.
Yeah. That sounds great.
It does sound great. Well, they talk about like sometimes I wish we could go back to that, but then you die of dysentery. So
I mean, there's that. That's never good. If sanitation was only better like 150 years ago, then maybe we'd still be doing that.
Maybe. I mean, if it's just like a small group of people, you could probably get away with like just pooping, further away downstream.
See, this is why what we should do is start a commune, and then we could all just like hang out and pick berries, and then at night we'll drink wine that we made from the berries, and we'll sit around a fire, and we'll just kind of like hang out, and we could sit and talk about this stuff.
That's true. Well, you wouldn't have any
Every
shows
night.
though, because you'd be like, "Hey, did you watch the deer walk by?"
We'll just yell. I don't know. We could do commentary on it. Be like, "Oh, look at that deer."
I'm going to go
Why
watch
didn't you
the
kill that
streaming service. Get it? It's the stream over there.
Why didn't you kill that one? Instead, you got this little small one. This is the one we're eating.
I'm so
Why
hungry,
didn't you kill
Shawn.
that one?
All right, Richard.
Why didn't you pick bigger berries? I hate this show.
I'm going back to civilization. I hate this. All right, so super question number 1, Richard. So, would you rather be a lackey on The Sopranos or a lackey on The Sons of Anarchy?
I mean, I gotta go with Sopranos, but that's just because I have not watched The Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm in the same boat. So I guess try to sell me why being a lackey on The Sopranos would be a good thing. Because I feel like a lackey in any of those shows never goes well for the lackey.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're either A, going to be shot, or B, we're going to go to jail. I feel like those are the only two. That's the destination for either of those roads. So with The Sopranos, it seems like you have a house. It's not like a big house, but you got like a modest house. And it seems like those guys just kind of like hang out in the back of a deli, that's Sash Royale's deli. They just kind of hang out and like eat sandwiches and play cards. And then at night they go out to dinner and they gamble and, play more cards. And at the end of the day, all you really, you got to occasionally, bust into something and, punch somebody in the face.
Rough them up a little bit. Yeah, I feel like Sopranos is kind of like more dressed up. You're more like higher class, I guess. And then like Sons of Anarchies, it's like you're riding around on a motorcycle and you're like you're not like beating somebody up with a baseball bat. Like you're like, it's more violent. I feel like more like a dirty violence, I think.
With Sopranos also, you get, you like I said, you get to hang out and eat a bunch and then, gamble and play cards most of the day. And then, you got some like nice suits that you wear every now and again. So that's good. Seems like, you can still like have a family, get yourself, a wife, a couple kids.
Yeah, Sons of Anarchy that most of them did, but a lot of them, like, I guess it probably in Sopranos too, they weren't the most faithful of.
Oh no, it seemed like it was par for the course. It was almost expected. Like if you didn't have like a piece on the side, then like people looked at you weird.
Yeah,
like that's the impression I got. Oh, in the strip club, you hang out in the strip club all day.
Yeah, Sons of Anarchy, the strippers came to the club. There was one where like the head guy in the Sons of Anarchy was getting kind of like, I don't know what the kid did. The kid did something to him, pissed him off, so he went and banged his girlfriend, like right in front of him, essentially. Yeah, like a lot of putting in your place in those kinds of things. I don't think I'd want to be a lackey in either. I wouldn't make it very long. Like we're talking hunter-gatherers.
Well, I'm not saying I would make it very long. I'm just saying if you gave me the option. Yeah. If gun to my head, which one am I picking? I'm gonna have to go. Again, I haven't seen Sons of Anarchy, so I don't know.
I feel like either one of those you walk in, it's like, can we try the 3-strike rule with these guys? Do we really have to beat the shit out of them with a bat?
Yeah, I mean it's the other thing I was gonna say is they have in Sopranos they have no show jobs and no work jobs. So you get hired on with like a construction crew, and your job is to sit in a lawn chair at the construction site and just hang out and like bullshit with your friends.
Yeah, but you can only do that for so long. Like, especially if your friends don't show up and they're just kind of sitting there doing nothing.
Shawn, you and I have sat here and done that for 400 hours.
But yeah, but we get it's like the 1 week you don't show up. Like I'm there by myself. I'm like, hey, you gonna make it in?
You can get by one day.
I mean, 1 week, 1 day, yeah. But if it's like a week, you're like, I don't know, man. I came down with something. I got the diarrhea. I'm like, well, we got porta potties. Like, I'm not pooping in those.
Well, whatever. Just take the day off then. Like,
it's true. I don't know. That seems like a toss up. All right. Super question number 2. Would you rather, Richard, work 4 days a week or 2 months on and 1 month off?
4 days a week.
Same boat. I very much like my me time. Because there are jobs like you think of like they talk about the crab fishermen, like they go out for like 3 months and that's their whole like job.
That's their whole year.
Yeah. And they pull in like 150 or 200,000. Like it's a lot of money in a short period of time.
Sure.
But super dangerous, working 24/7 essentially.
Yeah. I feel like if I had an entire like 3 months to myself, I feel like I would get bored really easy. I feel like I would spend more money to try and, like occupy myself.
Mm.
I feel like I would burn through the money faster.
I feel like it'd also be hard to get back to work. Like, it's almost like the whole teacher thing. Like, teachers have like 2.5 months off or 2 months off in the summer. Like, by the time you start getting into that routine, it's like, hey, guess what? You got to go back to work. You're like, oh, but can I just have a little bit more time? Because when you have like time off like that, it just flies by.
Agreed. Yeah, with 4 days, then you work your 4 days and then you have 3 days. Like it's basically like every weekend's a 3-day weekend. That sounds nice. I think that you would. I mean, definitely would get used to it. And so then even a 3-day weekend wouldn't feel like a 3-day weekend.
No, yeah. Well, I always thought like if I could pick my perfect schedule, it would be 4 9-hour days, and then Friday would be a half day.
I would want 4 8-hour days, 4 8-hour days, and then 3 days off.
I mean, if we're getting technical, I'd rather have 3 4-hour days and 5 days off.
Ooh, a fellow connoisseur, I see.
I mean, if you had to put a full 40, though, because if you did 4 days a week, those are usually 10-hour days, which those aren't bad. Like you get in at 7:30, you have a half-hour lunch. Like you can make that not extend too far into like your nighttime, so you still kind of have an evening. But yeah, I always like the 4 9-hour days and then a half day on Friday. So you're there the full 5 days with other people, still get stuff done, feel like you're not missing anything. But then you got a half day on Friday to get stuff done, and you're right into the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if I could, yeah, I don't know. I think that the 3 days off would be nice, but I don't know what I'd do. Well, but I mean, like, think of like, if you had, say, like, a month off, like you could have a completely separate fun thing to do that you would use to occupy your time.
Well, I mean, in the sense of the 2 months on, 1 month off, you'd have to do that, right? Because you'd basically have a full month of stuff that you've been putting off for 2 months.
Like you could like, let's say you did, like you could gang shoot a whole podcast. Like be like, oh, we're going to review, I don't know, The Witcher. And then you just bang out like fucking 8 or 10 episodes.
Yeah, or an audio show.
Yeah.
It definitely, if you had a full month off, that would definitely be better for hobbies. You could definitely do a lot more with that kind of stuff.
I feel like you would be able to have a much more involved hobby.
Yeah.
Like, agreed. I don't know, like build a sailboat or some nonsense.
But you'd have to be disciplined with that, because I figure like with that, like you take that first week off, just be like, all right, this is just my rest time. And then you burn through week 2 pretty quick. You're like, fuck, all right, well, now I got to start getting ready to get back to it for 2 straight
I got to
months.
build a sailboat now. Jam it.
All right, super question number 3. Have a fully stocked snack bar or a limitless coffee machine?
I gotta go with the snack bar. I don't drink a lot of coffee. I drink one cup. I drink 1 cup in the morning, and that is it.
I would love like a limitless snack bar, and maybe to make it a little bit more fair, like a fully stocked snack bar where you get like one thing a day. But I could probably get behind that. But if it's more of a snack bar where it's like, hey, get as much as you want, like, I'm not good with snacks.
And then you just sit at your desk and just fucking like pound Doritos for 8 hours straight.
It looked like the desk of the computer programmer from Jurassic Park. Just bags of stuff everywhere, soda all over the place. Like I know a couple of people that work at a place where they give out like free soda, and I'm like, man, like I'd have a tough time saying no with stuff like that, like sweets and snacks and stuff. Like it's just the whole like, oh, just one more. Well, this is my snack for tomorrow. And I'd just be a big fat fatty. And like coffee, like
my Monday snack and my Tuesday snack.
Shawn, you ate your Monday through Friday for the next 6 months and 2 days. I'm
it's limitless. Fuck off.
Is anybody else having trouble feeling their arm?
What would you have in your snack bar?
Like if you could do like if you got to pick anything, probably like good like meat and cheese snack like packets, like those high quality ones.
Like sexy Lunchables.
Yeah, Nutter Butters, lots of Nutter Butters.
Ew,
dude,
no,
Nutter Butters are awesome. Why do you not like Nutter Butters?
Don't like a Nutter Butter.
It's a peanut butter cracker.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just not a fan. I like peanut butter, and I like crackers, and I like peanut butter and crackers, but I'm a no on the Nutter Butter.
Do you like peanut butter cookies?
Not really, no.
Okay. Because that's all it is. It's just like a peanut butter cookie with peanut butter in the middle. It's like peanut butter on peanut butter.
Yeah.
That's
not a fan.
I would never pinned you for like Nutter Butters.
Nope. Don't. Not a fan. Not a fan of the Nutter Butter.
Beef jerky be on there.
Okay.
Some yogurt, like good yogurt, like high quality yogurt.
I don't really eat a lot of yogurt. I don't have anything against it. I just don't eat a lot of it.
Yeah, my wife's on like this meal plan thing, and she got me. It's pretty much like plain yogurt, but she put some honey and a little bit of peanut butter on it with apples and cinnamon. Oof, that was good. Dip the apple in it. Like yogurt's not one of those things I go after, but if it was like one of 8 things I could get each day, like I could go for that.
I'd be down with some peanuts.
Ooh,
some
yeah.
Cashews. Ooh, like cashews. Cashews would be bomb diggity. Some dried fruit.
Ooh, dried fruit's good.
Yeah. Like craisins or dried pineapple, like the dried pineapple. Fantastic.
You
dried
like
mango chips. Those are also.
They get some like roasted nuts. Like you get some like candy pecans. Oof.
Yeah.
Those are good. I run into those every now and then when they did the fairs. Oh, you get them fresh and they're still warm. Like, oh, these warm nuts taste amazing.
Then you say it really, really loud.
Yeah, like, I want more nuts in my mouth. Oh.
They're so warm and delicious.
Yeah, it's awkward when you're in a porta potty saying it. Yeah,
the guy whose lap you're sitting on is like, dude, could you not?
Yeah, it's like it said
Get
occupied.
Out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of the fully stocked snack bar, but I feel like I'd have to go with limitless coffee. Because if I didn't, I would die an early death.
See, I think that it all depends on your snack choices. Like everything you said, Nutter Butters aside, I would say is like not the most unhealthy thing you could eat.
Yeah, but if you eat 6 bags of beef jerky or like 6 containers of yogurt, like that's not good for you.
No, just you spend half your day in the bathroom at work. So you show up and then you gorge yourself on snacks and then you're in the bathroom and then you come out and then you're like, oh, lunchtime. And then you eat lunch and then you go back to the bathroom and then you essentially you've trimmed your workday down to like, I don't know, 90 minutes.
Todd's like, what the fuck? I know it's fully stocked limitless snack bar, but it doesn't mean you got to eat everything. It's like, fuck you, Todd. I come in early. It's like, yeah 5
challenge
minutes.
Accepted, asshole.
I'm going to bring this up in my next review.
You're a review.
Super question number 4. Would you rather work for a startup or an established corporation?
Startup.
Startup, if you're working like legit startup style, you're kind of looking at that like 6-7 days a week, 12-hour days.
Yeah, but I have an intrinsic suspicion and disdain for larger corporations.
Well, that wouldn't necessarily have to be a larger corporation, just an established like company.
I don't know. Like if you told me, hey, do you want to work at this tech startup or do you want to work at Google? I'm going to pick the tech startup because I have an ingrained distrust for like a Google. Like, well, hey, do you want to work at this little package distributing place or do you want to go work at Amazon? What do you think I'm going to pick?
Well, and it's not really because, like, yeah, in that sense, like, you're extremely faceless at Amazon. But, like, I mean, there's a lot of risks to startups. And I think it kind of also goes a little bit to, like, how you feel about, like, potentially having a job bounce, because you can go to a startup and within 6 months, like, yeah, our idea was stupid. We're laying everybody off. They're like, what about my severance? None.
Well, and I would feel like with the startup, you would be able, you as an employee would have more input on, you would have more input on the direction that you wanted to go. Like if you wanted to, you know, be a more, if you wanted to be more of a, you know, conscientious business in terms of, you know, if you wanted the company to be more conscientious of its workers or environmentally conscious, or, you know, like, I mean, the list could go on. You could be a more moral, you could pull the company in a more moral direction.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it'd be interesting because, I mean, it all kind of falls into like the, what is it, like 8 out of 10 businesses fail or something like that. Like there's a pretty high percentage of businesses that fail.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a lot of ego. I mean, there's a lot of ego in a lot of things, but I think you're a lot closer to the ego with a startup. If it was me starting the startup and it was an idea that I was like really, really behind, like that seems interesting to me. But then again, there's a huge kind of risk reward to doing something like that. Like you got to come up with all the capital to get a business started. And then, you know, when you start hiring people, now it's not just your business failing. Now you got like 10 or 15 people that were depending on the job.
Yeah.
A lot of I feel like startups, if you're going to last a while at a place like that, like you're going to be putting in a lot of hours. Cause if it's, you know, if it comes down to like, listen, we're barely cutting it. We've got this guy who works, you know, 46 hours a week and this guy works 60. We're probably going to go with the 60-hour guy because he's putting in more value kind of thing.
Well, I mean, I think that, like, you know, I mean, then I feel like, you know, then you're getting into the nuances of like, well, what's that, you know, is that 60 hours worth it? Because if one guy's putting in 46 and I'm getting the same performance.
No, yeah.
60-hour guy. I mean, yeah. And also, like, I don't know. Like, if it was my personal business, if it was something that like I started up, I don't know how I would feel about a guy putting in 60 hours a week and not being adequately compensated for it.
No, I agree. And a lot of times, like, those people are going to get burnt out super quick.
Because to me, okay, no, I'm not going to, no, never mind, Shawn. Because I was going to get into, you know, my thoughts on end stage capitalism, but we'll save that for much later.
Yeah. I guess what scares me from a startup is there's a little less security for sure, because it could be gone tomorrow. Probably a lot more time working. Sometimes pays better, but you know, that kind of depends on what it's developing. There is a bigger,
that's true.
There is usually a higher reward. So if you get with a company that ends up, you know, striking it big in something, like if you were getting stock options early on or something like that, you know, it's like the secretaries for Apple who are given stock options are millionaires now because, you know, they started when it was nothing and kind of followed it all the way up. But yeah, I don't know. I probably want to I don't want to work for like a Google or something like that, but working for a startup, especially this stage of my life, like I feel like a startup's like a young man's game or a young person's game.
I mean, I don't know, because I think that I think no matter what, I would probably go with the startup, because in the event, let's say even in the event the thing completely falls apart and fails, like just go find another one. Like, yeah, there's plenty of jobs. There's jobs. Just go get another one.
Yeah.
You lose one, you get another one. It's fine.
Yeah, people do it all the time.
Yeah, they do.
All right.
You don't have to feel locked in. You don't have to be locked in. Well, you're a songbird, Shawn, and you need to fly and sing.
Yeah, and I guess I mean with startups too, like I mean corporations lay people off all the time, or established companies lay people off all the time. So it's not necessarily just with startups.
Yeah.
But super question number 5. So would you rather have a day off or a day alone at the office?
Day off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying boat too.
Why I don't like I don't understand why that like so what if you're by yourself?
I mean,
Like,
I
you're
guess
still in the office doing bullshit work.
yeah, I guess the day alone, like maybe it's not going to be as stressful and you don't use the vacation time. But like I've been like at the office like the day after Thanksgivings and there's hardly anybody there. And those days drag forever.
I mean, yeah. But also like, hey, would you rather like regardless of whether there's 20 people in the office or 2, like you're still there.
Yeah, you still have to get up
and
early.
you still took that option over not being there. So what?
Yeah. Yeah, these I looked up somewhere, but yeah, definitely I'm in the same boat. I want my day off.
Yeah, take a day. Like just take a day off. You work too hard. Just take a day off.
So this one is kind of relevant more in the last couple of years. But so super question number 6. Would you rather work for home or work in the office?
I would probably be. I personally would be fine with working from home. However, I can 100% see why someone would not want to do that. I would be fine with it, but I feel like I have the personality that would do better. Not necessarily better, but would fit that lifestyle fairly well. I think I'd be a lot better at it than a lot of people. So I personally would stay from home. However, I can completely see why other people would not want to do that.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the other camp of wanting more, like having the option, like time to time, but like working in an office just to me, like it feels like it keeps work separate from home. Because like if you come home and you got your work area, like you come in, you sit down, you get on your computer, you're at work. You have a bad day or whatever, you get up, you walk out, where are you? You're already home. Like, but if it's all at an office, you're leaving your office, you're driving in your home, and it's like it's your safe space. It's your non-work area. It's completely separated from all that.
Yeah, I completely get that. I guess, like I said, I think that my brain, I'm able to separate a lot. I feel like I have a better ability to separate things than a lot of people. You know, I can take things and put them in a drawer and shut a drawer, and then, you know, it's gone until I need to open that drawer again. Mm-hmm. So, like, for me, things don't necessarily bleed into each other.
Yeah, I mean, if having like that like ability, I think makes it easy, because if you're at home, it's like you have a bad day. It's like, oh, well, day's over, laptop closed. All right, I'm good. But like, I'm the kind of person that's like, all right, let me check this email real quick. Let me do this. Well, there's still some people on because they're on the other coast. Let me come back and check, make sure that that's okay.
Now, I will say that I've never had a job that where working from home was an option. The current job I have now, I probably could work from home if needed. Maybe I'd have to like maybe get a couple extra, probably get a better printer, but I think I could. I mean, it's possible. And could I do that job here, like, and then you know, stop and do something completely different? Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like I could do that no problem. Now you have worked from home, and from your experience, it's been kind of give and take.
I think if you have a job where like 90% of your time's away from people, it's probably okay. But like any communication is slowed when everybody's work from home. I think having like 90, like having like a couple of days a year where you can work from home is pretty nice, because I mean, it's nice in the sense like, you know, whenever you live so far from work, like, yeah, get up, get ready, get dressed, drive to work, get home. Like, there's like a 2 hour, like, you know, a bit of time from commuting and everything, getting up and getting ready that you miss. But like, if you're working from home, like, okay, you get to sleep in a little bit later, just got to get quick ready, like in 5 minutes, and then bam, you're working. And then when you're done, bam, you're home. So there is some, like, I'm starting to grow and like having the option and like maybe using that from time to time just to, you know, get stuff caught up at the house, relax. But if it's more the norm, I feel like I would let work bleed into like my home life a little bit more. Because there's something about like, if you're working from home, it's like, well, we couldn't get a hold of you, but we should be able to because, you know, you work from home. Why can't we get a hold of you? Which is a company by company issue probably. But whereas if it's more of like you're there and you leave, it's like, well, where's so-and-so? Oh, he's gone for the day. Oh, okay, well, we'll just catch him tomorrow when he gets in the office. So, and this is a question that's interesting because it's, you know, where we're at today, like, you know, a lot of kids have spent a couple years, you know, like Zoom meetings or team meetings or, you know, Skype meetings, like those are, I feel like the worst things ever. Like, I feel like they're terrible for communication, terrible for team building. And I don't like them personally. Like there's something to being in a room with people and like working together that you get like the subtle cues of different, like, you know, just, you know, human interactions. And then, you know, there's usually like a few minutes after where you kind of chit chat and get to know people more. Whereas if it's more of an online type meeting, it's like, oh, meeting done. Bye. Click. And you kind of lose a lot of that.
I feel like it definitely depends on the nature of whatever it is everybody's doing. Like, for example, if I worked as a writer on a television show, I would prefer to sit in a physical room with other people.
Yeah.
And the thing is I don't know if I'd necessarily need like an office in the building to then go and sit and write stuff, but just maybe, I would want an actual physical meeting space. Maybe not necessarily. That'd be kind of nice though. There you go. That's what you could do. Like you'd have like a morning meeting. So you just like rent like a conference room somewhere, you know, and from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Monday through Friday, everybody, you know, gets up and goes to the morning meeting, and then they come home, and then and everybody does their work.
Yeah, I think having like a mixed match of like, or like one day a week where you get to your home, but like the other 4 days you're like at work, like something like that.
Or the opposite, where like one day a week everybody's in the same spot. Like on a Monday, like everybody gets together and then, you know, figures out what needs to get done for the next few days, and then everybody goes off on their own.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, like, because I mean, this is definitely more of like a thing. Like, 5 years ago, I don't think businesses had to worry about this too much. Like, there were some that were strictly work from home, but it was kind of more rare than not. And I think now with everything,
it was definitely an anomaly.
Yeah.
But now I think that you're definitely gonna see more. This is going to be something that's offered more and more. I mean, pandemic aside, I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I think if the pandemic didn't happen, we probably would have got there. It would have taken longer, but I think that just kind of sped it along by maybe 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
All right. Super question number 7. Would you rather have a high salary and less days off, or a lower salary and more days off?
Oh, I mean, what's the gap? Are you telling me like 100,000 versus 50,000?
Okay, so let's say 6 days a week, 10-hour days, 200,000, or 5 days a week, 40 hours at 60,000. So about 140,000.
I'm taking the 60.
Yeah, that'd be the same boat. I think,
Shawn, they actually did I can't remember who, but there have been studies done to say or to figure out like what amount of money it would take like what amount of money equals like contentment in not necessarily 100% contentment in life, but trying to answer the question, like, how much money do you really need? And the number they came up with, $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
At 70,000 a year, you're at the point where you're not really, you're not worried about, making sure your bills get paid every month. And you have, just like a little chunk that you can kind of, maybe squirrel away for emergencies or, save up for a trip or whatever. But anything above 70,000, and then and that doesn't necessarily become gratuitous, but it doesn't add to your quality, your personal happiness in terms of like quality of life.
Yeah, I could see that. Because, I mean, all you're going to do is like you might get a little bit bigger house, but the house you had before was good enough. You might, so your car might be a little bit nicer, but your other car that you would afford would be just as good. Maybe like you go to a little bit more exotic places for a vacation, but again, you're going somewhere else for a week. Like instead of Florida, you're going to,
Bali or whatever.
Yeah.
So apparently the sweet spot is 70,000.
Yeah, I think
so. Anything less than that, and then obviously, then you're like, oh shit! Like, am I going to be able to, pay the electric this month and shit like that? And anything more than that, you're just like, well, I mean, I'm doing nicer shit, but it's the other stuff was fine.
Yeah. I think a lot of you think the working the higher salary with less days off, like you're going to miss so much, and like I think we're getting to a point in like people are understanding that there's more to life than just working. So like you obviously some people, that's what they want their life to be, is working, and that's why they're probably going to get those higher salary, less days off. But it's kind of find that sweet spot where you can make, like you said, the 70,000 type, that middle ground, enough to make you not have to worry week to week, but then also get the time to see the family and relax and just enjoy what there is in the world.
And this is why, now bear with me, Shawn, this is why Jeff Bezos should make $120,000 a year, and everything else goes to the employees. Everything else, all of it.
Yeah, but then they're going to make more than 70,000, so they don't need that.
The other $12 billion, well, then he could just hand it out to people in the street.
It's true. I don't think that's exactly how the math lines up, but I get where you're going.
I'm giving him enough to like double. We'll say 140, so he can be happy enough for two people, and then everything else goes away. Everything else goes to everybody else. That's because he doesn't need it. He can have enough happiness for two people, and all the rest can make everybody else happy.
Yeah, we got to cut through a lot of people because there's a lot of actors we got to cut money from, a lot of business people, a lot of athletes. And then we're going to say, no, you get double happiness.
Yeah,
the rest of the money happiness goes to everybody else. But now they're getting triple happiness. Don't want to hear it. Dribble that basketball, hit that baseball, ship that package.
Double happiness. Yep. And be like, whatever. Double happiness. That's what you get.
Super question number 8. So, would you rather have a job that made you famous with less money, or have lots of money and not be famous?
Ooh. What am I famous for?
I don't know. I mean, if you're thinking about like famous and no money, you're a famous podcaster.
Okay, Shawn, so let's see, what's something that's a lot of money but not very famous? I don't know. Let's say you're the CEO of a company that makes iPods.
I mean, I would think you're famous though in that sense, because I would think that anybody that's making a lot of money is going to have some degree of notoriety.
So I guess I mean, but I guess I mean when you say famous, I mean, you know, like people like you're walking down the street and you're spotted on sight by people.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of like CEOs and stuff. I would assume that they walk down the street and there's no people don't know who they are, and they're worth millions of dollars.
Yeah,
but like
what about like porn star?
Well, I guess
what if that's the thing that made you famous?
2 girls, 1 cup, that kind of scenario. I mean, there are a lot of like YouTube, it's probably like TikTok famous people now where like they're super like people recognize them, but they don't make any money. And it actually hurts them because like, you know, they go to a job interview and they're like, all right, so wait a second. Aren't you the 2 girls, 1 cup girl? Like, yeah, a few years back. It's like, oh, sweet. Like, can you sign this? Sure. You're not going to get the job. Sorry, but, you know, thanks for stopping by.
I'm totally making this an NFT.
But I have heard of like some YouTube people having issues with that. I would want to do like the lots of money and not be famous. Because I think in that sense, like your life's going to be easier. Because if you are super famous but don't make any money, like I feel like that's going to cause a lot of stress in your life because you go someplace.
See, I feel like you could use the fame to make more money.
I mean, probably. Well, I mean, I go back to like the YouTube people who are famous in quotes, but their show doesn't make them any money, and then it hurts their actual like whatever career they have because it deters from them getting hired for places.
Well, I mean that may be, but at the same time, if I'm famous and I'm making enough to, you know, get by, and my job is to make YouTube videos, like I'm pretty content.
Well, I wonder if this would be more like I'm trying to think of something like somebody that's famous that like you wouldn't want to be famous.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, would you rather be a famous porn star or a not so famous porn star? Because they get paid either way.
Yeah.
It's just that.
Well, I'm starting to think like less famous because of your job. So it'd be like a Raina Bobbitt type thing, like her husband. Like you're famous because you got your dick cut off. You're not going to make any money off that.
Yeah, yeah.
But everybody sees you like, oh yeah, homeboy got his dick cut off.
Because like, okay, don't male porn stars make pretty much the same amount?
I don't know. Yeah.
Regardless if you're well known or not.
Probably.
So would you rather be a famous porn star where you get?
Oh, okay, I see where you're going.
You know, where you're known, or would you rather be a not so famous porn star where you make a good chunk of cash because you're in a bunch of movies but no one really knows you?
So you'd be like the porn star if you were the famous porn star that made less money. You'd be the one that they caught on camera and could only last like no time at all. Like that's your stick,
right?
Or you'd be the guy that nobody knows.
You're the stunt cock that comes in for like the end.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in this case,
or would you rather be the guy fucking, or would you rather be the stunt cock at the end?
I mean, for making more money as the stunt cock, I feel like that's the way to go.
Kinda, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's a tough one. I feel like that one needs more of scenarios spread out.
You just walk in, and then leave.
Yeah.
Didn't even have to show his face.
Super question number 9. I think I know your answer on this because it's a little similar to the one above, but would you rather start your own business or be CEO of a major company?
I'd start my own business.
Yeah. One, I think if you're a CEO of a major company, like, you know, there is lots of money usually with that, and a CEO at any level. But I feel like you're working for somebody else in that sense.
Yes.
Whereas if it's your own business, like it's something that hopefully you're super passionate about and something that you want to build. Again, there's tons of risk of being, you know, starting your own business.
Intrinsically, as a CEO, you are intrinsically an evil person.
Well, no, because if you have your own business, you're CEO of your own business. So technically you're evil.
That's true. So okay. So would you rather be a CEO or a founder? There you go. There's the delineation.
Yeah, I'd want to be a founder. I think that'd be really cool, especially if it's successful. Like, I think that'd be the way to do it. Like, if you could start your business and then get to a spot where it's successful, and like, especially, I mean, it's got to be something cool, like a business that you've started and seen from the ground up. Like the first time you relinquish that CEO to like somebody else, and you like just step into like a board role. Like, it's got to be like seeing like a kid grow up kind of thing. It's like it's something that you started and built from the with other people and everything, which hopefully have kind of been with you the whole ride. And then you get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm stepping away as the head of this company and giving that to somebody else. Like, I feel like that would be really cool.
I mean, it would. I mean, I would be worried. It's kind of like, I mean, like you said, it's like watching your kid grow up. When you get to the end, you're like, did I create a culture that's going to endure under someone else's watch?
Oh yeah. And you think,
because I and I think I mean, this is going back to something like that I said earlier, is like, if you're starting something, then you're able to, essentially morally guide it. And so then when you hand those reins off to somebody else, you're sitting there and you're going, are they going to continue the direction that I want things to go in?
Yeah. One, at that point too, if you've been around there that long, like, I think there's a difference between probably a private and a public company too, in this sense. But like, if you've got a company that you've kept private and you get to a point where, you've got 1,000, 2,000 people working for you, like, you want to make sure that lasts a long time, because you don't want to like die or give up reins to the company, and all of a sudden now 2,000 people are out of a job because whoever you appointed ran it horribly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always wonder the stress that goes on some of the people that, own and found a company, because it's like, in a sense, if something happens, if it's ran successfully enough, you're probably fine. But then there's the stress of like, well, what happens to everybody else that you worked for you?
Yeah.
I know some people you could probably say like, oh, they probably don't care, but I would imagine most people care. It's like when that happens and you've got 500 people out of a job, like, you're not going to feel warm and fuzzy about that, because again, you failed to make a company grow and to basically keep people working for you employed.
Well, I mean, how many stories do you hear of like a small company that grows and then it gets sold to something bigger, and then somebody's put in charge and the direction of the company is going in the wrong direction, and bad workplace culture develops, and then it just becomes and then the name of said business becomes synonymous with toxicity, or just not just bad for employees, but bad for consumers.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of people I've heard that have talked that when it's basically like the best way to lose control of your company is to go public, because essentially you lose like all say in the company. And so when that situation happens, it's kind of like, I think it pushes a lot more people to kind of maybe stay under what would be considered like a good public level, because once you do that, you lose full control of your company. Like the culture and stuff you said that like you put in place, completely gone at that point, because then it becomes less about the people in the company and more about whatever the stakeholders and like, the shareholders need.
And then it becomes profit driven, and any sense of humanity is kind of, just almost sucked out.
Yeah, things get too big, I can see. Because then, it's like if you're in a company of 5 to maybe like 2,000 people, like there's still faces. But when it's, a company spread across, 50 states with, 10,000 people or whatever, it kind of can get hidden from all that. And it's just names on a page instead of faces. But yeah, I definitely want to start my own business. All right, last one.
It's funny. I actually thought we'd be a lot. I would think that it seems like we're in agreement more than I thought we would be.
Yeah, for the most part. A lot of my stuff kind of goes more to like time inputted to like the satisfaction I get from it. So like if I was a CEO of a major company working, because I mean, I don't know what the hours are, but I bet it's more than what I work now. And you're putting in that amount of time and you're making a lot, but I don't feel like I would feel rewarded for that except financially. Whereas if I start my own business, I may not be getting financially rewarded very quickly, probably putting in just as many hours. But if you see that company grow and succeed, like there's something like you built that kind of thing.
But all you need 70,000, Shawn, and then you're fine.
That's true. But if I'm starting up my own business, I probably got a lot of money invested that I got to make that back. Super question number 10. Would you rather get paid once a year or in installments?
Installments. I feel like I would piss it away way too fast if it was one lump sum. I mean, I think that the smarter option would be to take it as one lump sum because then you'd be able to I mean, with if you, let's say if you had money that you were investing, then I mean the magic of compound interest takes effect a lot better with lump sums. Like $4,000 at the beginning of something does a lot more than $20 over 10 years.
Yeah, I think like financially you could come out better if you had all of it at once. But like I'd be in the same boat as you. It's it's one of those things that I've got all this money up front. I mean, it's kind of like what they like. This happens with like NFL players all the time. Like they get a lot of their money like in 12 weeks or 17 weeks, whatever the season is now. And then like by the start of the season, they're broke because they've spent all that money so quickly.
See, now, like there's a possibility like that since I know that I would be afraid of that I just like wouldn't do anything for like 8 months. Yeah. I'd be like terrified it's going to run out.
No, it's ramen from January to November.
And so then December rolls around. I'm like, oh, I still got $68,000 left.
Yeah, it's there's something comforting knowing that you're getting paid every like on a consistent basis and it's not like once a year kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I feel like there's too much that can like go awry.
Well, in that situation too, if you're only getting paid once a year, like are they paying you for the past year or are they paying you for the current year? Like what? Like they're basically paying you up front or are they paying you after the fact? Because most places.
So are you afraid like you miss a day and then they're like, okay, you owe us $45.
Well, I would assume that'd be like if you like found a new job like mid-June, like, all right, well, you owe us 6 months of I got some Pop Funkos, I'll trade you.
Yeah. And if that's the case, does that mean you're working a whole year without any money?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Cuz that'd be super bogus.
Yeah. That's probably why they don't do it that way. I would assume like,
no, I don't like that.
Being for like, just so that it's not an argument one way or the other, I'd assume that they're paying you for the year you're going to work. And there's no like weirdness where you're going to get fired or anything like that. Because probably in the sense of that, you probably have a legal stance if they fired you to be like, well, you already gave me the money.
Yeah. Finders keepers.
It'd probably be more like contract based. You'd probably have to sign like a contract.
Yeah. I feel like I think that in my head, financially, the smarter option would be to take the lump sum. However, knowing the world, I feel like there's way too many variables involved that it seems like way too risky.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Richard, that is our super question jobs. Do you have any Richard's closing thoughts to tidy this up?
70,000 is all you need to be happy. So I guess what I should say is that everybody should work to get to that amount. And if you have, if you're below that, then hey, guess what? Like now you have a goal. That's where you need to get to. Just get to that amount and then things might seem a little bit better.
Is that per person or per household?
Per person.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. I'm sure it varies, depending on cost of living, where you're at. Like you said, like household. I would say, like, if two people are sharing an apartment, they don't need 140 grand. However, like that's for you, that's the number that you should hit. And so if you're below that, then that's what you should work to. And if you have way, way more than that, then you should expect an angry mob with torches and pitchforks at your front door, coming to take it away.
Well, they're on an island, so you have to come by a boat.
We can't afford a boat.
No, that's how they get us.
That is how they get you. I hate it.
All right, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbromance.com. And we'd like to thank, as always, our two patrons, Wendy and Aaron.
We hope that in my world, both of you get double happiness.
All right. Is there anything else before I close her out?
No, I'm good, sir.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why. Be a why
not.